time for Cigar Talk, the fastest growing cigar show in the nation. Whether you're a new cigar enthusiast or a cigar aficionado, we have something for everyone, bringing you the best interviews, cigar reviews, and weekly giveaways. So grab yourself a cigar.
It's time to light 'em up.
Welcome back, Cigar Talk. I'm your host, Rob Jones. We have co-host Bryant Falconer in the studio. How you doing tonight, Bryant?
Hey, man, I'm doing good,
Awesome, man. You have a good week?
Hey, had a great week, for real.
Awesome, man. Mine's been up and down, but you know what? We're rolling into the weekend, and everything is looking good.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, today on the show, we got special guest Liana Fuente. Yeah. Dude, great interview. It's a must. I mean, it was one of my most enjoyable interviews I've done.
Okay.
I enjoyed her story of her family and what she's doing. And anyway, just a great family.
Yeah, knowledge, man.
Yeah, lots of knowledge, lots of family history, just rich. And as always, we'll have our pick six.
Yes.
And then you got yours ready?
Oh, yes. Most definitely.
Just checking on you.
Most definitely.
And then tonight we'll also be giving our favorite bourbon pairings. We're doing something a little different tonight. We got Bryant smoking a mystery stick.
Yes, I am.
So let's just jump right in. What are you smoking over there? What's the name of it? But what are you smoking over there?
I am smoking something that in the first to the second third is a light to medium.
Okay.
Woodsy at first. Then I can't describe the nut that I was tasting. It was some nut, and now I'm getting a light pepper. But I'm starting the second third of it. It's a light stick, but it's good right now.
Is it? How's the burn on it?
Yeah, look at it, man.
Oh, dude, nice.
That's damn near perfect.
Nice. And I'm smoking a cigar that's probably, you know what? It had a shot at being my number one cigar in 2019.
Oh, okay.
And the only reason it didn't even make my top 10 is because the owner was a dick. Hey, you know me, I ain't gonna pull no punches.
None whatsoever.
You know what cigar I'm talking about?
I think I do.
I am smoking the Home by Dissident.
Yeah.
You know what? And this cigar was gifted to me.
Hey, now you're getting gifted.
I know, right?
See?
So this is and you know what? I feel honored.
Okay.
Because the person who gifted this to me, this is the only one they had.
Okay. Ooh.
And he's been saving it since I had mine back in July.
Wow.
So it's a that's
special.
That's honor.
Yeah, that is.
I'm very honored. So Jay down at the Leaf.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Brother of the Leaf through and through.
Through and through, man.
But yeah, dude. Have you smoked one of these?
No, I haven't.
I'd let you have a drag, but I'm not going to let you.
I'm good because he gave me some Four Roses special, small batch special.
He didn't give you a home.
Yeah, no, he didn't, but he gave me something.
Let me tell you something.
This Four Roses,
this cigar right here, if the owner wasn't a dick,
he said it would have made it.
This could have been like a top 1, top 2, top 3.
Say it would have been in the top 3.
I hear you. Of the year. But unfortunately, you know, good cigars don't always come from good people.
Hey.
And if it sounds like I'm being rough on this guy,
you are.
I am.
You are.
Anyway.
You're just being you. That's all it is.
So anyway, man, if you haven't had an opportunity to smoke one of these, I highly recommend it. I'm not going to go into it, but anyway, I have mixed feelings about it. You know what I mean? It's such a great cigar. I mean, fantastic. Hey, so we talked about what we're smoking tonight. Let's talk about Macallan for a minute.
Most definitely.
So, you know, they did the price increase of 5%.
5%.
And they didn't touch all the cigars in the line, though.
Mm-hmm.
So we still have the 4 to 42.
That's correct.
And I'm going to tell you, from 4 to 42, and they cover the entire palate spectrum.
Tell the truth.
I mean, no matter what mood I'm in, I can pick a cigar.
That's definitely true. I was amazed at how they went back to the old label on the torcedors. They Leaf got them in yesterday, and they pulled it. I was like, wow, that's the old label.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So I just hats off to McAuliffe, man, because they take care of us.
Top to bottom.
They take care of us.
And, you know, it starts with Mr. McAuliffe.
Yes, sir.
Al does a great job.
Yes, sir.
He's put in some great people that's going to help grow his business.
Mm-hmm.
and they're just like genuine people.
Oh yeah, he has a passion for it, and he has people around him that share that same passion.
Well, I mean, to me, it goes without saying that he knows good cigars, but he also knows good people.
Yeah.
So he's done a great job of assembling a team to help McAuliffe grow. And I mean, as a cigar enthusiast that loves their line, I love seeing what they're doing next.
Tell the truth.
It's a great story. The company is evolving. Right before our eyes.
Yeah, I love being able to take that walk with them too.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love that.
It's not like, hey, wow, look at what they did. It's like, wow, we're actually on the journey with them.
Yes.
So hats off to you guys over at McAuliffe. We're thankful to have you as a sponsor. And so puff, enjoy. And let's talk about our pick 6 this week.
Most definitely.
So you want to go first? You want me to?
I'll go first.
All right, I'll let you.
My number 1 was...
I thought you were ready.
I am ready. My number 1 was a McAuliffe Gomez Sanchez Leyenda number 2.
Nice. Very nice.
A gift.
Well, okay.
A gift. But
Go ahead.
I truly appreciate the stick. It doesn't have a backstory like you in the home, but it has a great backstory because the person told me they were going to give me this, and they held on to it for a minute, not as long as yours, but they did, and they gifted it to me, man. I truly appreciate it. I took it when I got some news from my daughter, and it was congratulatory to me because the news was great from her.
So is your daughter going to Cuba?
Yeah, she's going to Guantanamo, man. She's coming back from Kuwait, and she's going to Guantanamo. So I really felt good about that, and I said, let me smoke this.
So how long is she going to be there?
2 years.
Wow, that's not bad.
Nah. It's up to her.
Okay, cool, man. So what's your number 2?
It's a 601 La Bamba Flashbang Gordo.
Oh, nice. Oh, it's the Gordo. Wow.
Man, that thing was bad. And it had a little rat tail on it, looked like a stem. Yeah. I was like, you look at this.
And that's a 6x6?
Yes, sir. And it exploded too, bro. It's a flashbang for real, man. I loved it.
How long did you smoke that cigar?
It took me an hour.
I'm surprised.
It took me an hour.
I figured it'd be longer than that.
No, it took me an hour because I was sitting there at the Leaf talking with Larry and Jay, and they were talking. Let me rephrase that. They were talking, and I was enjoying it. Most definitely, man.
Okay,
it was a flavor flash bang.
And I tell you what's been nice is the whole Espinosa journey that we've been on for the last few weeks. Ever since Big Tony came by, I've been smoking some Espinosa.
You're not the only one.
Yeah,
bro.
I've been very impressed with them.
Yes, sir. Then my third was an Alec Bradley Prensado.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Now, see, that surprises me. Now, which one did you get? What size did you get?
Oh God, what was that?
Was that the Robusto?
Yeah, it was the Robusto. I had to think about it.
That's what they have at the Leaf.
Yeah, at the Leaf, because that's where I got it from was the Leaf. I even put that one on not Facebook, Instagram, man. I had to put
stick.
that. Yes.
I haven't had one in a long time.
Dude, I sat there and enjoyed that stick, man.
You know, I believe that's the one that was like 2014 cigar of the year. It might not have been 2014, but I'm pretty sure somewhere in that neighborhood.
Okay. Yeah. It was worth it.
It put a bind on Alec Bradley because they weren't ready for that much success at one time. And
sometimes we step out there like that.
Yeah, and I think they're just now recovering.
Yeah. But that's a great stick. And that was my 3 this week.
This is a good stick. Yeah. So the first one I had this week that was a surprise for me was the H. Upman Nicaragua, which was blended by A.J. Fernandez.
You and H. Upman?
I know, right?
Man, if I walk out in the snow on the ground, I understand why.
Hey,
for real.
Great stick.
Wow.
Great stick. And it was gifted to me.
Here we go.
It was gifted to me.
Come on, get on this train, bro.
So then my second cigar of this week was the Herman's Batch.
You
know what that is?
One. No.
That's also an H. Upman.
Huh.
Herman is the H.
Education.
Yeah, boom.
Education.
Right?
Education. Boom.
So this cigar was made in celebration of the actual founder.
Okay.
And it's a Dominican Republic. It's Ecuadorian Habano wrapper. It's a Dominican binder and also a Dominican and Nicaraguan mix from Esteli for the filler. But anyway, that was also gifted to me.
You taking all my gifts, man. Come on now.
Well, and then my third stick of the week is the one I'm smoking now.
I hear you.
Which is the Home. Which is also
gifted
to me.
I've never had 3 gifts in 1 week.
Hey.
It's my top 3.
So I just wanted to say thank you.
Here's that competitiveness.
So, Eddie, I want to say thank you, Eddie.
I hear you.
Do you know Eddie?
No, I don't.
He is the rep for Altadas.
Okay. Well, he was just there.
Yeah.
Okay.
You see how it is?
Yeah, I do see how it is.
Boom.
Well, I think Shuby.
All right, guys. So that was our pick 6. Hope you enjoyed those. Highly recommended cigars. I enjoyed all of those. And also, I just want to throw in, it wasn't in my top 3 this week.
Okay.
Just because I've had it so many times. But I wanted to throw in a number 4.
Okay.
The McAuliffe, Connecticut.
Okay.
Dude, I've been tearing that stick up
that's a
all
good stick, man.
week with some coffee.
Yeah, that's a good
So
stick.
if you haven't tried the McAuliffe, Connecticut, and you're not really a big Connecticut guy, try it because it's not your grandfather's
It's Connecticut.
You know what I mean?
I hear you.
It's got some kick to it. It's got some flavor to it. I was talking to a guy in the humidor up at the Leaf earlier today, and he was looking at the Camachos, and for a second, he had 2 cigars in his hand. I couldn't tell what they were, but they were like definitely Connecticut.
Okay.
And he picked up the Camacho Triple Maduro, and then he put that one back, and he picked up the Camacho Connecticut.
Okay.
And I said, hey, man, I don't mean to be nosy, but you're picking up 2 way apart from the spectrum. The Triple Maduro
to
and
Connecticut.
the Connecticut. I was like, I said, are you a new smoker? And he was like, yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about.
And I said, well, I'm just going to let you know I wouldn't jump on that Triple Maduro at this time. I said, you know what, stick to the mediums or the lights as before you jump up to the full blown. And so he ended up getting a McAuliffe, Connecticut. That's one of the reasons it made me think of that. And then he also got the Camacho, Connecticut.
Okay.
And I was like, those are good sticks to graduate up to the mediums if you keep smoking those. You know what I mean? But you don't want to jump to a Triple Maduro Camacho.
No, sir. No, sir.
It's like, dude, you better be ready to sit down.
So it's a different guy because there was another guy that was in there. I guess he came in before you got there, and he was new to smoking it. He came in looking over at the Fuentes and everything. I was like, you new smoke? He's like, yeah. He said, I just really want to try. I said, well, hold up. You may want to walk into the humidor and then take a look. And Jay was in there. I said, ask Jay and let him know. So he came out with a McAuliffe, Connecticut.
Oh, good.
But that was the only one he had. So
Yeah.
there's 2 different guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
This was a real big guy.
Yeah. Oh, no, this was a younger guy, and he was small.
No, this guy was like our age.
Oh, yeah, no. 2 different guys. But, hey, 2 new smokers.
Hey, exactly, man. Coming up next, we have Liana Fuente's interview. And then when we come back, we're going to do the giveaway. Then we're going to name our favorite bourbon pairings. And then we'll find out how this mystery stick's going for Big Boy over here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, guys, we'll be right back with Liana Fuente. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, thanks for hanging through the break. As promised, we have the special guest that I've been talking about for several weeks now. We have Liana Fuente from Fuente Cigars, and we're just so happy to have you here. How are you doing, Liana?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm pretty excited. This is my first interview of 2020. So
All right. Hey, well, 2020 is going to be a good year.
Yes, it is.
I've been doing a little research about your background, but I'd like to find out, what was it like growing up in the Fuente family? You know, when you were in your 5, 6, 7-year-old stage and growing up in that environment. I mean, I know it was rich with history, but how was it as a child for you?
Growing up, it was, well, I don't know if you all know, but our family's pretty big. So it's 8 cousins in total. So growing up was never a dull moment. Like, our house was always full of laughter and fun. I mean, every weekend my grandfather would call us to make sure we were there, had all the kids over, and would barbecue. It was pool parties. It was, I mean, it was like any other kid, really, but just we're always surrounded by cigars. I mean, I guess that would be the only difference.
Well, that'd be a big difference.
Yeah.
That'd be a fun difference for sure. At what point in time, I read that you used to sneak puffs of cigars when people weren't looking. About what age did you start doing that?
You know, my grandfather, I remember looking at my grandfather and my dad, and they would have this, I mean, I can still see my grandfather today sitting in front of me. He had like this romantic stare into the cigar, and he would look at it. It was almost like silent interaction that he would have with his cigars, and I always admired that. So whenever he put that cigar down or went somewhere, I always would take a puff. Not just me and my cousins. We always like try to, because we wanted to see what was going on. It was like almost like it was mesmerizing, I guess you could say. And then I can't remember how old I was exactly, but I remember I was young.
To see your grandfather smoke in that way, I mean, you could definitely tell it was something special for him because it was almost like a meditation between him and the cigar.
Oh, absolutely. 5 o'clock will come, and after work, he'd always sit down, pour himself a glass of Chivas, and he'd sit back and smoke a cigar. And then we would always recap the day, whatever it was. I mean, how was school? How was work? I mean, what happened in the office as I got older? It was always a conversation over a cigar. And then it's kind of weird because I guess it isn't normal for everybody, but it was part of our normal. I hate that word normal.
Right.
It's so relative to, everybody's normal is different, but it was normal for us. I mean, cigars are really what brought the family together. Good times, bad times, it was always around, and it's pretty much a part of our culture.
What a rich culture to grow up in. I read part of the article that said that you sneaked a few puffs here and there, but to really enjoy your first cigar that your dad gave you was a trip to New Orleans. And so tell us about what you got to smoke for your very first cigar.
My first trip, I think, was like RTDA, and it was in New Orleans right before the hurricane hit, I believe, or probably a little earlier than that. And we're sitting there, and we're in the car, and my dad, Duro Sandoval was with us. My Uncle Wayne was with us. We're all in the car, and I was, I just started working in the company officially. So it was just a different experience. And long story short, I said, Papa, no, I wasn't working. I was before that. I was super, maybe 16, 17, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a lot younger, but I wanted to be like the cool kids, right? So I said, Papa, let me smoke a cigar. And he's like, no. I said, come on, Papa, let me smoke a cigar. He pulled out this long, skinny cigar from the front pocket. My dad always has his cigars in his pocket, but they're not in cello. He always lets them breathe. But I learned that later on what I was smoking was a Forbidden X. I didn't know.
Oh, wow.
So as I started puffing the cigar, I started getting maybe like a third into it. I felt like it's like flashbacks. These little beads of sweat were like pouring down my head. I felt so nauseous, but I was so prideful because I did not want my dad to know that I was feeling ill. I told him that I had my purse in the hotel that I had forgotten and got back. When I got back to the hotel room, I laid down, the room was spinning. To this day, I don't think I've ever touched Forbidden X again.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I got to say,
Yes.
That's one of my favorite cigars from your line. So when I saw that was your first cigar, I was like, wow, starting out with one of the best. It's hard to go back to anything other than that once you start with the best.
Well, thank you very much, but I don't think I was ready for that ride. It's like jumping on a wild horse.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I wasn't expecting it, but I bet you if I try it now, it'll be a whole different story. I remember my dad looking at me, I swear, through the rearview mirror, just laughing. And just a little smirk, and I'm like, he totally set me up, and I fell for it.
Yeah, exactly.
My father and I today have a great relationship. It's so funny because now working with him, I've gotten a complete different growing up, it's like you want dad, dad always worked really hard to be able to give us all the opportunities. Like we grew up from very humble beginnings, and my dad strived to make sure that we had all the opportunities in the world that he didn't have. And he made sure that whatever we want to do, we were able to do. And now growing up, I realized that he made so many sacrifices for us, and I admire him so much now. As a child, you don't see that because, dad's, working. But
right
now I know why he works so hard. And it's not just for us, the kids. He does it for the kids in the foundation. He does it for all our coworkers, everybody that works with us. I mean, if anything happens, it's all on him, and he works so hard to keep it going and sustain the family dream, which is, making the cigars the best in the world.
He's accomplished that because when you think of cigars and you think of the best, Fuente is right there. So, I mean, what an accomplishment for your entire family.
And to be completely honest with, it was so hard losing my grandparents. And a lot of people said, Carlito's over, the family's over. But growing up, my grandfather instilled to the next generation that there is going to be a next generation. And my dad has even pushed the benchmark even another layer, another height, because, all the money that he reinvested in the company, we completely redid the factory in the Dominican Republic. We took over the buildings to the left and right of us. We just broke ground last year on a new box factory. We just opened it last week.
Oh, wow.
For our national sales meeting. I mean, the things that my father and the whole family and the team is doing to make sure that this continues bigger and better. Not so much bigger because my dad doesn't want to make, our farm we hear this all the time with Opus X. We want more Opus, one more Opus. Unfortunately, our farm is just as big as it gets. We can't make more, grow more cigars because that's what it is. And my grandfather always taught me, Liana, you only have one piece of loaf. How thin do you want to cut it? You want people to be happy with their slice that they get. So it's really, really hard. But what we can do and focus on is making better cigars, keeping quality up and breakage down. And that's what we try to do, is focus. That way, at the end, make sure we get the best amount and highest quality cigars coming out of that factory.
At what point did you decide that you were going to work in the family business? Was that right out the gate, or did you think maybe you were going to try something else?
I did. Growing up, I pretty much did everything. I started working when I was 14 years old. My mom was a hairdresser, and I would work every summer, sweeping up the hair and to make a couple dollars, washing people's hair. So I've always worked. So I was like, maybe I could be a beautician. And then I loved law, so I wanted to do international business. I worked from retail to merchandising to restaurants. Working at the radio station, doing promotions. I did so many different things. And I wanted to also bring stuff to the table. So when I was like 23, 24, I looked at my dad. Actually, my grandfather was like, I want to work for the company. And like, you can't work for the company. You got to figure out what you want to do. You don't come, get experience. I'm like, I have experience. You know what they made me do? They made me apply for the job. Really? And I did. I applied for the job. There was 3 other people sitting in the office too. Karen Smith is the brains. In a sense, she's our in-house president, but she's also in-house counsel. She's so smart, Harvard and Yale graduate. She interviewed me, and I was so intimidated, but I got the job.
Awesome.
I got the job. They offered me the job on my birthday, and I have the letter.
You still have the letter? Nice.
Absolutely. I still do.
So what was your first position with the company?
My first position was pretty much an apprentice, I would say. I didn't have a title forever. I was pretty much shadowing my grandfather for the first several years. You have 2 jobs. If you don't see the smoke coming out of my cigar, you're too far. And if you don't smell my aftershave, you're too far.
That's
so
great.
Everything he did, he made me work on the farm. He made me roll cigars. He made me do everything he did. I traveled with him for the first several years every week. So we would leave on Monday, come back on Friday, because my grandmother was living in Tampa. So we would leave every week to the Dominican and come back every weekend. And honestly, that was probably the most beautiful experience I had, because I had my grandfather all to myself. And I was able to see through his eyes how he ran the company.
Oh, that's awesome. Let me ask you this. At what point did you take over, or I guess not take over because it didn't exist? When did you start Fuente into the social media realm? It
was kind of organic, I guess you could say, because the more social media was becoming prevalent. First, it was before Facebook, it was just college. And then it was MySpace, and then Facebook started really blowing up. And we didn't have a social media presence at all, much less, let's talk about online, a website. And I would tell Dad, we have to do anything. He goes, you know what? My dad always gave me the rope of saying, Liana, I'm going to give you a rope. You have 2 things. You can either make a lasso or hang yourself with it. And honestly, I know it sounds so tough, but it allowed me to be myself and take risk. And I knew that no matter what, my dad would support me. And if he didn't support me, at least I learned from it. And that's always been the idea between my father and I, and as well my grandfather. It's always look, you can do whatever you want, but do it. Give me a reason why. Tell me how you're going to do it, or don't just do it and show me what happens afterwards. And he let me really lead my own way in that aspect. And so he's like, I don't know what a website, I don't know how to do that, but go ahead and do it. Social media, I don't like social media, but whatever. Now I can't get my dad off social media.
Well, the funny thing is, if you think about the cigar industry, and at the time that you were bringing, cigars into the 21st century, so to speak, it's a very traditional business. And so, the internet was a completely 180 from what the traditionalist had ever experienced with cigars.
It's true. It's very, very true. And even our publications that traditionally, magazines are now featured online. It's unfortunate, but it's almost a lost art. No one wants to have paper anymore. But, everything is fast and convenient nowadays.
But what we still love and we want to keep is the boxes and the cigar bands. We don't want that to go anywhere.
Yeah, I can't even imagine with 58 passes what's going to happen. It's going to destroy this whole industry.
Yeah, they passed that, I believe, up in Canada already. And so, I mean, to me, it's just a tragedy because of all the artwork and craftsmanship that goes into all the presentation for cigars.
It's true. And let me tell you, when Opus X first came out, most boxes came in plain plywood boxes. The art of creating these beautiful jewel boxes, I would say, because my dad always believed, it's not just the band, it's not the cigars. It has to have the whole presentation. You can't have a man in a 3-piece suit with flip-flops or some ugly tore-up shoes.
Right.
It has to be complete. It has to be a complete package. It's all about the presentation. And my father, as much as he loves Opus X and he put so much time in that band, he did as well in the boxes. And it's going to be a lost art. And unfortunately, the way this world, they say we live in a free country, but I don't even know if that exists anymore. It's getting too controlling. And what's going to happen is more mom and pops are going to have to shut down because they're not going to be able to stay up with all the regulations that are being imposed.
I'm with you on that, and we support Cigar Rights of America and the PCA just because, that's who has our voice when it comes to the legislative policies, and so we always want to support them. So bringing PCA up, let's shift gears here. What's your guys' plan for PCA this year?
Well, just last week, we sent out a press release that we will be at PCA, and we're going to be offering some very exclusive products that have never been in the market just for PCA.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we kind of dropped what it's going to be, but we don't want to show anything. If you want to see it, you have to be there. So we're hoping that other manufacturers take lead and offer this too, because, I totally understand. I mean, to be completely honest with you, PCA, or before it was RTA and then IPCPR, a lot of these manufacturers offered show specials before they got to the show. But what happened was it was so much more convenient not to even go to the show. Why are we going to spend the money with hotels and everything if I can just get the show deal before and I can save the company a lot of money? Well, little by little, less people started coming because more manufacturers were offering these deals, especially these big corporations were offering them beforehand. And you don't want to lose that part of the share either. Well, now we've come to a point in today where we really need to support PCA because it's a fight against FDA. This is how we get the money, and this is how we have to do. And so my family completely is behind it 100%. We're offering some very exclusive cigars just to be sold at the show. So if you are a consumer and you need to ask if you want to get these products, you have to go ask your brick and mortar to make sure that they are there to get these exclusives. It's going to be one time. Believe me, I was in the Dominican looking at this, and my dad wouldn't even let me take the cigars off the floor. He's like, "This is not for you." I'm jealous.
You're like, you can't spare one?
Yeah, killing me.
I think that the landscape of the PCA is going to look much different this year. But as we said on the show last week, I just think that with change comes much opportunity.
I do too.
I think where somebody might leave the PCA, that opens the door up for some other people to come into the PCA that maybe weren't in that space before, just because now they don't have to compete against those big four companies.
I think, honestly, you're exactly right. I think it's the way you look at it. If you look at the glass half empty or if you look at the glass half full, it's the same glass. And there is going to be a lot more opportunity. And it's going to show exposure to the companies that are there for the fight, and going to actually bring a lot of smaller boutique cigars going to be able to showcase there as well. And that's what's important, giving the small guys an opportunity to showcase what they have. Because let me tell you, I know what it's like to make cigars. I know what it's like to grow cigars. It's not easy. It's one cigar goes through thousands of hands. And for it to be perfect and for you to have that perfection, it's hard. And so everybody deserves a fair chance and a fair chance in the fight.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So I wanted to ask you about your family's Fuente Foundation, and if you could tell us a little bit about that. I've read some about it, and you guys do some amazing work, and the amount of care that, how much do you actually care about the foundation, and not just, the people that it serves, but the people that actually work in the foundation as well.
The foundation is actually very, very special to us. We have the CFCF, which is Cigar Family Charitable Foundation. That is, the school is actually on Chateau de la Fuente, right outside of it, actually. It's a long story. So let's start from the beginning. When a young man came to my dad in the Dominican, toward the Dominican, and he was in awe. He was from Europe, and he was writing a publication from there. And he said, Carlito, I don't know what you did. This is amazing what you've done here, but I got to tell you, you're just assemble cigars. You're not a true cigar maker. My dad was destroyed. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, well, you're making cigars. You're buying tobacco and you make the cigars, but you're not a true manufacturer because you do not have a pure Dominican puro. That broke my father's heart. With that, this Project X from Planet 9 came up, and my dad's like, I'm going to grow wrapper. He failed and failed and failed until he finally did it, and that's when Opus X was born.
Oh, wow.
Yes, throughout this process of making sure that he was able to grow filler, no one in history in Dominican Republic has ever made wrapper before my father did.
Really?
Yes, it's because the soils are so... It's just such a hard climate to grow wrapper in. With that being said, during that time in Bonao, that area was one of the poorest regions in all the Dominican Republic. It was almost like the forgotten. And it was heartbreaking. They had no running water. They had no lights. Little kids would come up to my dad and to Eric Newman asking for a job because they needed money so they can eat. And my dad's like, sorry, I have girls at home. I have kids at home. We don't do that. I don't do that. And so then all of a sudden the people would come and say, we need to hire my children. And so my dad and Eric Newman did a little research, and there wasn't no schools till miles away. They literally would never have an opportunity to be anyone. And so with the idea, Eric and Bobby Newman and my father had the idea of, we have to do something. And so with that idea, an elementary school started. From that, grew into middle school. And then the nearest high school was miles away. So they realized if they didn't continue doing a high school, they wouldn't even have all the hard work that the family did to educate these kids will be gone by 8th grade. With that said, a high school was born. A few years later of trying to do the best we can, we became an example for United Nations, a sample school for United Nations. All the kids have the highest marks in the whole country.
Wow.
They're speaking 3 languages, French, Spanish, and English.
No kidding.
There's basketball, there's baseball, there's agriculture, there's a music school, there's a dance school. I mean, now we just broke ground for a technical school to teach a college. After, if they don't want to go to a college, they can learn something, a trade.
That's amazing.
People from the whole country want to go to the school, but they can't because this is only to help the poor children of Bonao. And 100% of the money that's raised is done through Cigar Family, which is we sell toast packs every year. So one cigar from the Fuente family is donated, as well as the Newmans donate a cigar. So $50 is a toast pack. The whole $50 goes to the kids. And both families cover all the operational costs of the school. So every single dollar that's donated to this foundation goes directly to the kids.
Oh, that's amazing. I know I read the article about the foundation, I guess probably about 4 or 5 months ago, and it just made me respect the Fuente family so much because you guys opened up shop and created a very successful business. But you didn't just do that. You wanted to take care of the families in and around the territory of where the factory is. And so hats off to you guys for doing an amazing job with that.
It really takes a village because my dad always goes, it wouldn't be right if we didn't. We had to do something. I mean, these kids will come. My dad would tell me, we have pictures. Matter of fact, we were looking at some pictures this week for our national sales meeting. Kids had pot bellies because they're all full of parasites, no teeth. One kid, Emilio, poor thing, had brain cancer. And it was because he was bathing in the rivers. Where our farm is, it's in a valley, right? On the other side of the mountain, they have a lot of mines. And these kids would take baths in all this water that could be polluted, causing him to have, I'm not supposed to say that, but we all think it's because of taking a bath in these waters. We were able to take him, he had a year to live. We were able to meet with St. Jude's, and now he just got diagnosed cancer-free, and it's been 9 years. And if it wasn't for the school, we wouldn't be able to help these kids. They would be non-existent, and it's just heartbreaking.
I love that story that you guys put back into the community because I think that is the essence of what the cigar community, a lot of the cigar community is about, is always helping others. And so I really applaud you guys for taking a leadership role in that area.
Thank you very much. It's part of us. I think somebody asked me, what is it like being a Fuente? And I said, well, part of it is, obviously it's a lot of different parts. Being family, being part of this huge family of coworkers, family members, everything. And then part of being Fuente is also the charity aspect. I mean, we have this foundation, but my dad and my grandfather built up a Fuente Family Foundation, which is just funded by the family. And what we do is that we want to do things to help Ybor City get better. So I'm very active in Boys and Girls Club. We're very active in Humane Society. I mean, we try to do as much as we can, not just in the Dominican, but also in the U.S., in our community here. So that's very, very important.
Well, that's awesome, and we thank you for that. So let me ask you this. So you took Fuente into the social media realm. How did you develop a plan to do that? I mean, you really got off on the ground floor as far as social media is concerned, because you were going all the way back to like MySpace and, just the website. So now that we have Facebook and Instagram, I mean, how did you develop a plan being fresh, out of the gate with social media?
I don't think when I first started, I just knew that we needed to do it. It wasn't so much of a plan. But then as I started to build and build and build, it was kind of like we didn't have catalog. We didn't have imagery for the cigars. We didn't have any of that stuff. So I just my plan was fulfilling the need at that point. And then from there, it started to grow. And honestly, because of all the restrictions today, social media is the easiest way to get to so many people at one time at a low relative cost. And, there's only so much you can do. But honestly, I wouldn't doubt it if FDA tries to take it away. They already did. So we're just trying to utilize it and take advantage of it now as much as we can.
I thought about that several times myself, right now with Instagram and Facebook and, some other social media outlets, we have it pretty good as far as what we can do. We do have some restrictions, but I don't count on that being available, say 5 years from now. Sure, the show Cigar Obsessions, and YouTube actually took away his right to make money off of his videos on YouTube, and he did cigar reviews. And so, I mean, everywhere you turn, they want to take away a little bit more of our rights as far as cigar manufacturers, even as far as being in the media. So, I mean, there's definitely obstacles that we're going to have to look for opportunities to overcome as well.
And honestly, they're going to get worse every single day. Facebook already put you can't promote or purchase any type of promotion through social media. So they deny every request that I do. And you try to get around it. You try to not say the word cigar or different things like keywords. We try to omit, but it still denies you access to do that. So everything is sharing and sharing.
Well, they won't even let me advertise for the podcast just because cigar is in the name of the podcast, Cigar Talk. And it's funny because when I found out they wouldn't let me advertise, I actually decided to do an ad on how to quit smoking cigarettes. And then, if you go to my webpage, I'll tell you how to quit smoking cigarettes is to start smoking cigars.
Did that pass?
No, they wouldn't let me even put that on there. And I mean, the title of it was How to Quit Smoking Cigarettes.
It's because there's tobacco in that name. That's exactly what it is.
So, I mean, I've tried every which way I could, and there's no way to get around it. The funny thing is, though, the very first time I ran an ad, they ran it, and it was very successful. And then the second one I ran, they were like, nope, you're in tobacco business. And I was like, but I don't sell tobacco. But they don't care.
Yeah, they don't care. It's very unfortunate because, I mean, Ybor City itself, this was at one point the cigar capital of the world. I mean, you go down the streets and, I mean, you had the Italians, you had the Cubans, you had the Germans, and it's just, everything is Spaniards, everything has changed, and it's the culture that's dying. And ironically, the demand for cigars is, to me, even more. Everybody loves cigars. I mean, I go now to, different retailers or different lounges, and I see more women smoking cigars. It's just, and it's not kids that are smoking cigars. I mean, so it's just, I think the government is just trying to take more and more control or get their money out of it. I'm not anti-government. I believe that, government with order is nice, but not too much. This is getting a little ridiculous to say. I don't like talking politics, but I think I feel my family left from Cuba for a reason. I feel like it's turning right around.
Oh, it's funny that you say that because I recently saw a video with a woman who had fled Cuba, and she was talking about, don't try to make America Cuba. Let us have our freedoms. That's the whole reason I came here.
That's exactly it.
And, for someone who experienced that, we should definitely take note to what they have to say. And I don't usually get into much on politics either. That's not really my place. I'm just real big on the freedom of our rights. We have our rights. Let's not let them chip away our rights, because that's what really is going on.
Yeah, and what happened to having the respect of people's rights? That's another question. People don't have that either.
Absolutely. I tell everyone I reserve my right to be offended. And what I mean by that is go ahead and offend me, because I'm not going to like raise heck about you offending me. You know, if everyone has their freedom, someone's going to be offended, and you should be honored
Exactly.
to have that right.
Exactly.
So tell us about what you have coming up. You just came back from the 2020 sales meeting. What coming up that maybe we don't know about?
Well, we have a lot of exciting things this year. To be honest with you, be the first one to know. We're having a lot of things with Añejo. This is our 25th year of Opus X and our 20th year celebrating the Añejo cigar. So we're going to come up with some fun, exciting things, and we're really excited. Going to be promoting both brands, and it's a big benchmark for us as far as the company.
Well, I can't wait to see that. I like the Hemingway, the short story. That's my go-to for the Fuentes.
And that's exactly what I'm smoking right now.
Well, that's funny, because that's exactly what I'm smoking right now. I thought I'd smoke one since I was talking
got great
to you.
taste, my friend.
How people can find Fuente online, I'm sure they already know, but just in case they don't, where can they find you guys to find out information?
Yeah, we don't sell direct to the consumer, but if you want to have any information on our cigars, at durofuente.com. And if you want to have a question for us, the contact us really goes to me. Contact me at durofuente.com. Check us out on social media, Duro Fuente Cigars, both Facebook and Instagram, and also on Twitter.
Awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us. We're big fans, not only of your cigars, but your family and the tradition and what you guys represent. And we just want to say thank you for that as well. And we wish you the best for 2020.
Thank you so much, Rob. I'll do the same for you.
Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed the interview with Liana Fuente. It was a pleasure to have her on the show. We're thankful for her time. And so anyway, let's get to this week's giveaway. We're giving away a 3-pack of Harman Solomon cigars. And this week's winner is, hang on one second, Crystal Henson. That's spelled Hinson.
Okay.
Tell them what the rules are.
The rules are you have starting after your taping Monday till 18:59.
1800 on Sunday, the following Monday. How can they be expected to know the rules when you've been doing this for weeks?
I know the rules. It's just the time on Sunday that gets me 7 or 6. 7 or 6. It is 6 o'clock, 1800 on Sunday.
Central.
You must give us your information, the correct information, phone number and address, so he can get the prize out to you.
All also, right, hold up. See, you don't know the rules. I'm going to go over the rules. So the show comes out Monday. You have until the following Sunday to contact Rob Jones via email, via that website, which is rob@cigartalkpodcast.com.
Too much.
All I need is your address. I don't need your phone number.
You've asked for it before.
No. All right, guys. Anyway, congratulations, Crystal. Enjoy those cigars, but make sure you send me your information by Sunday at 1800 Central Time. That's 6 p.m. if you don't know military time.
And when you get it, please send pictures.
Yeah, take a picture, send it back. We'll post it on our social media so everybody can see the winner. And did you see the winner of Leo the Great with his humidor?
Yeah. I still love that name, Leo the Great.
Leo the Great, man. He's all rock star.
I love that name, man.
Yeah, we posted several winners over the last couple of weeks. The Golden Coast was the winner of the Bovetta humidor. And if we have them available, whenever we send out the prize, I include one of the poker chips with it. So everybody asks me how they get a poker chip. You can either be a Patreon or you can be one of our lucky winners, and I include one of those if we have them available. Anyway, guys, coming up now, we got our bourbon pairing, your favorite bourbon pairing. So I'm going to let you go first. Now, when I say bourbon pairing, it's just not your favorite bourbon. It's your favorite cigar
with it.
Right.
Yeah.
The best combination that you know
would be the Four Roses small batch that we had, what was it, a couple of weeks ago?
Uh-huh.
And I had an Oliva V series with it.
Very nice.
That was great.
Yeah, was that the Maduro?
Yes, that was great.
You know, I've never had that pairing, but I can see how that would be a nice mix.
That was great.
So my all-time favorite pairing is actually the Four Roses just the standard.
Okay.
Not small batch, not the single barrel, none of that. It's the actual Four Roses because they use all 10 recipes on the standard.
Recipes.
And so it has a very complex flavor profile. It's like you don't narrow it down to like 3 or 4 flavors. You narrow it down. You don't narrow it down. It has a lot of flavors. And the stick it best goes with is, do you know?
No.
The Medallia. Because it has so much complexity. Those two mixed together
will send you on a roller coaster.
It is fantastic. So
I can see that too.
if you can get your hands on the Medallia and the standard Four Roses, and I think the standard Four Roses is like $26, dude, it is just a perfect match.
Yeah, I can see that.
Really is.
I truly can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, and I've had lots of pairings. I mean, what do we have up on the shelf? We have the Russell Reserve, the E.H. Taylor, the Springbank Scotch,
Evan Williams,
the James Pepper 1776. We've got some Jameson here, and then did you see what that little bottle is right up there? That's the Irish cream.
Yeah, that Bailey's Irish
I
cream.
have to put some of that in my coffee in the morning.
Okay.
So tomorrow, speaking of tomorrow, I've been sick.
Yeah.
I was sick the last week.
You've been sick your entire life, but this is physical.
Well, not mentally. I
This
mean
is physical,
physically, yeah. So this week I've had some issues going on, but I think we've got them squared away. But that being said, you know what? I've made this weekend making an attempt to spend some more quality time with my wife.
I see.
And so we actually went hiking today.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is, while we were hiking, and people may not believe this, but I'm not lying. I'm just straight up.
I like that. I'm not lying.
I'm not lying.
But
Dude,
you saw what?
Dude, we saw 2 mountain lions.
Yeah.
2, not 1, but 2, and they weren't together.
That's what amazes me. Here in Texas, there's everything. You see most of everything because there's a farm in Zephyr that has zebras.
Oh yeah.
So now you talking about mountain lions? I was
Dude,
like, oh, come on, dude.
There's a farm up between Childress and Vernon that has camels.
Okay, I'm done. My part of this conversation is over.
Yeah, camels. And then I guess up in Lubbock they've got a guy's got buffaloes. I mean, if you're in Texas,
you see everything.
But here's the thing though: the mountain lions were not kept animals.
Yeah,
these are just out roaming. And I got to say, they weren't huge. But when I first saw it, I thought that was the biggest bobcat I had ever seen. But then when I saw that long tail, I was like, holy crap, that's not a bobcat. And so we went on the hike we were on. There was like this little area that there was some water that was standing, and that bobcat was getting a drink.
The bobcat?
Sorry, bobcat. I said bobcat. No, the mountain lion.
Yeah.
And I was like, because at that time I thought it was a bobcat. So I wanted to get a better look at it. And so I go down there, and the wind was blowing from his direction to mine, and it was blowing pretty good. So he really couldn't hear me. And so I was walking down that way, and then he started walking off, and I saw that tail, and I was like, holy crap. I thought it was a really big bobcat, and it was a small mountain lion.
I am just outdone with this. I can see Mufasa sitting there drinking.
Dude.
And looked at you and said, okay, here goes the neighborhood.
So listen to this, though. So then we start hiking back to where we came from, and I mean, this was probably like 5-10 minutes later. Another mountain lion crosses the road.
Bro,
and
good.
This one was about the same size. And the thing about it was, where he came from is like right where we had walked 10 minutes earlier.
So where is this again?
Kirby.
I'm not going.
I thought it was cool.
I'm not going.
I thought it was cool.
You won't see me there.
All right. Well, Anyway, back to I'm spending some extra time with my wife this weekend because, between me being sick for the last couple of weeks and then how much work I put in at work and then with Cigar Talk, sometimes you got to, spend that extra time with your
Tell
wife.
the truth.
Because, when you got a great wife, you need to say thank you.
Yeah.
So we went on a hike today, which we had a great. So anyway, tomorrow we're going to go see 1917.
Okay, that movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been dying to see that movie, and my wife's been dying to see that movie. So I hope it's really going to be good.
If it's not, you still got the opportunity to spend time with your wife again.
Right.
And that's what that's what you're trying to do. So that's the best and the blessed part of it. So.
Absolutely. All right, man. So let's talk a minute about the ambassador program for McAuliffe.
Yeah.
So there's two things I want to say is one, I love the Facebook community that McAuliffe has built. It's not, the Facebook community is not about the guys that work at McAuliffe.
Nope.
It's about the ambassadors.
Yep.
And they might take questions or ask polls or whatever to get your feedback, but it's really about the ambassador, and it's great how much they pay attention to their people.
Yeah, and it shows because it's growing daily.
Oh, big time.
Daily.
And then the second thing I want to say is I posted a photo of my cigar with my ambassador coin on Reddit. Are you on Reddit?
No, sir.
Okay. I haven't been on Reddit very long. It's like a forum, it's not like Instagram or Facebook. Okay. It's more like people write articles and stuff like that. Anyway, I posted this picture of my cigar and my coin, and sometimes people leave comments.
Uh-huh.
I got one comment.
Okay.
You know what it said?
What was that?
What's Bryant's number? LOL.
Yes!
I was like,
leave it alone.
That's not even the community I thought I was in. I was like, I can't catch a break no matter where I go. I went to a new forum, a new format,
and I followed you there.
Still get creamed by the what's Bryant's number.
Yes.
So anyway, guys, if you would like to become an ambassador for McAuliffe, go by our webpage. Down below the show notes, it says become an ambassador.
Hit the link.
Click on the link. You go in, you sign up. It's free. They send you your own challenge coin. They send you a handwritten certificate, and you get to join the community on Facebook, which is a private group, and it's a great bunch of people. Great. All right, that's enough.
I am outdone, man.
Dude, I know. I was like, dude, I can't get away from that. I don't even know who this person is.
But they know who you are.
They know who you are.
And I am, and the numbers.
So, anyway, guys,
all right,
go by
Mike,
and do that.
All right, Mike, be quiet.
Yeah, I don't think it was Mike. Because then he would have said what his
number was. Yeah.
So, anyway. All right, guys, let's talk a minute about the mystery stick that Bryant's been smoking. How's it been?
Hey, man, it's good. Like I said, it started off, it was woodsy, had some nut notes to it, got spicy, and it was a light spice, a small spice. I got a hit of floral for a second. Then the next thing I know, it went back to being light spicy. But this is a good stick, man. The construction is great throughout. I'm in the last third now. On my second stack of dimes, and now I get to find out exactly.
Now you get to find out what it is. I'm handing him the band.
A Gurkha. You gave a Gurkha. Oh yes. Vanquish.
You know
yes,
what's
sir.
funny is I've never smoked that.
Yes. Yes.
I really had.
He handed me a Gurkha.
I had no. You know what's funny is that was gifted to me as well.
Well, I thank you for the gift.
So the person who gave me that, thank you for giving Bryant a cigar.
Yes, that I love.
So
yes,
I've never smoked one. So how was it?
Man, it's good. I'm telling you, it's good. It's light, but it's not.
Be better with the coffee.
Yes. It's perfect pairing. Would be the Kenya AA?
Really?
Oh yes. That's that smoothness of the Kenya AAA, and this, I would love that. That'd be a perfect Saturday or Sunday morning for me.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect Saturday or Sunday morning, because that Kenya would get me hyped, get me rejuvenated, ready, and this would just be that perfect mellow to keep it going. I like this. I really do.
Nice.
I'm just surprised it's a Gurkha. He handed me
You
a
were
Gurkha.
so shocked, weren't
Yes.
you? You had no idea what it was.
None.
You knew it was a quality stick just by the burn.
Yes.
Which I got to say, the way that looks after you've smoked it down to the third,
uh-huh.
I'm impressed with the construction.
Yes, all the way through.
I had no idea how it was going to be.
Maybe one day we'll get on to try it.
Let me just say this.
What's that?
I gave that to you blind testing because I knew you like Gurkhas.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to sound, how would I put this and not sound like a dick?
Sound like Rob?
When the person gave that to me,
I got you.
I was already like, yep, I'm giving that to Bryant.
And let me see
So
what
no
he'll
offense.
say. Yeah.
So Jeremy, no offense, but
Yeah.
Big boy over here loves it.
Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Anyway, hey guys, that's going to wrap up this week's show. Next week we have some very big news, but we're going to save it right up until next week on the show. And anyway, coming up next is going to be the Patreon after show. Mm-hmm. We're going to definitely talk about what's going to happen with the 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, I'm expecting a good game.
He asked me today, he said, you going to keep wearing that red hat? I said, until February 3rd, this red San Fran hat and my San Fran Zippo will be with me every day.
Interesting story, because I saw him lighting a cigar with a Zippo, and I was like, what the hell are you doing?
And then I showed him.
It's a Jet Zippo.
He's got a Zippo Jet liner.
Now, is that an actual Zippo?
Yes.
Wow,
yes, it is.
I did not know they made those. Here's my question, though.
Mm-hmm.
If they lose, are you still going to wear that hat?
Every day.
Because here's the thing. I asked you if you're superstitious, and you said yes. And so to me, if they lose, it's your fault.
It's not my fault. It's just that Kansas City somehow showed up.
Oh, they show up almost every week, dude. They show up. You know what?
I have to be honest about
No, but you know what? We're going to talk about this in the after show.
Yeah.
We'll pocket it now.
Okay.
And let me just say before I go, Jay at the Leaf, thank you. This home, I'm not even halfway done yet.
Look at it.
Dude, it's so
Yeah.
freaking delicious. What's that dude's name that came by and did the show that gave me one of these before? I had one of these before, and it was one of my all-time favorite cigars. And then the guy vanished. I mean, like Houdini.
Yeah. That was, but I can see his face.
But anyway, guys, hope you guys have a great week.
Yes.
We'll see you next time. Until then,
keep smoking.